Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another video. And for this video I'm going to share again two sets of battle for the Bengal Ember Cup tournament which I participated in. And similarly for this tournament also I will be sharing the whole battle set of 5 rounds into 2 videos. The first part will consist of the first 2 battle set, and the second part will consist of the next 3 battle set. So as I've already mentioned in my past couple of videos that what Ember Cup is, so it is actually the cup that allows electric, fire, grass and ground typings along with 8 wildcard entries and banning shadows, megas along with a couple of mons and dragon, rock, steel and mud boys. So that is its theme over in this cup. So this is going to be the Silph arena wave 1 that have been introduced for this season. So I have participated in it, so that will be, and I'll be showcasing the first 2 battle set in this video. So without further more delay, let's quickly jump into the battles. So the first opponent for me is going to be once again Champion Raj01. So I'll be sharing this battle with you guys and hope you like the content of this channel. Do share with your friends, like and subscribe to it. That helps me a lot. So moving into the first battle, I pick up a lead against Piloswine. So this is going to be a tough thing to handle with my Qwilfish and my Marowak in the back. So I have to play it out very carefully. So I'll be letting the first avalanche go through, and it does quite a bit of damage which I can survive, but I'll be now pressurizing the shield onto my opponent's end as well, and they also let the first charge move go through, to which I count up to a 6 powder snows and I catch the next avalanche onto my Marowak over here, which does actually no damage to it as well because it's a fire typing and it does resist the ice as well, to which I have got myself into a switch lock condition. And let's see what the final what's the next Pokemon is going to be for my opponent. It is going to be the alolanmarowak, which is again a tough scenario for me because I have to somehow manage this alolanmarowak as well with my Marowak and the Qwilfish in the back. So that is the reason I'll be shielding up the first Dark Pulse and let the first Bone Club go through, because how bad the Bone Club is, so that is the reason they can easily survive. And now I have to let my next charge move go through because I cannot double shield up, because my win condition over here is actually my Qwilfish, which does have a really good matchup against the whole team over here, which Raj is actually using, to which now the final Pokemon is going to be their Electrode, which have got access to Discharge and Thunderbolt. And I'll be first going for the Hail Mary Shadow Ball over here. That does land and I snipe the Electrode down with my powder snows from the Piloswine, and I've got a loaded avalanche right now for the very low alolanmarowak over here. But they have quite a lot of energy from their end as well, but they tried to get some more, which does end up causing a CMP tie over here and letting be the Aqua Tail go through, and which ends up getting the win for the first battle against him as well. That is a good game, tough lead over here, so I had to overcome that. So GG's. Moving on to the next battle, I pick up a lead against Charizard over here and into my Gligar. So Gligar is a good option in this scenario, so I have to somehow keep it out from the Piloswine. So if I'm in that matchup, I'm just terribly vanquished, so to which I let the first Blast Burn go through, which is not a great thing because it does so much damage. But now I'll be guaranteeing myself a shield advantage onto my alolanmarowak, to which I have to come back and get the Heart Farm. So I'll be letting this first charge move go through once again. So this is going to do neutral damage because it's a Dragon Claw, and the next Dragon Claw is coming through once again, which I have to shield up because this will put me almost 60% down of health. So that is the reason I have to shield up, and the final Pokemon is going to be the Poliwrath over here. Not the final, this is going to be the second Pokemon actually, which ends up being a Piloswine, and the final Pokemon for me is going to be Poliwrath. So I have switched out my Hisuian Qwilfish and Piloswine for the Gligar and Poliwrath over here for this kind of matchup. So I was quite sure that they are not going to play out Dedenne over here, because I have got access to a Dedenne heart counter, which is my Marowak and my Hisuian Qwilfish over here. So that is the reason they will be letting the they'll be overcharging a bit. So that is the reason they did not anticipate that I'm going to throw back-to-back Scalds, taking out their shield and taking out their Piloswine in the final Pokemon. Again is going to be their own Alolan Muck over here, to which I tried to catch one resisted move onto my own Marowak over here, which I failed, and they could farm up a bit of energy. But now I did a CMP tie and I'm holding on to one shield, so I'll be shielding up this Dark Pulse and I'll be going for the next Bone Club. That will ensure the win for the second battle as well, because this Muck is very low over here. So that is the reason I'll be getting the win for the second battle. Moving into the third battle, I pick up a yet again good lead against the Piloswine once again, and to which they swaps into their own Muck over in this scenario. So for Muck, I do not have a hard counter to it, so I'll be switching out into my Gligar over here, because my Gligar have 0 play against their Piloswine. So I have to keep it out somehow. But since they went for back-to-back Dark Pulse, so my thought process was like to get this Muck out of the way or get the first shield from my opponent's end, which they do. They do not shield the return, and that gets wrecked. The Alolan Muck just get vanquished from that kind of range, and they cannot farm me down before I can throw the first Night Slash onto their Piloswine once again. To which now I'll be loading up onto the Shadow Bone once again. I'll be going for the next Bone Club. So Bone Club does get me the shield over here, and I catch one more high horsepower, I believe, onto my Piloswine over here, which does quite a bit of damage. But the final Pokemon over here is going to be the Charizard. So this is going to be very tough. So because they have got a shield to their name as well, I have got a not very healthy, but it's quite like a moderate Alolan Marowak, but Charizard will be resisting this fire spins over here. So I have to watch it out. So they might go for a Dragon Claw bait, so I have to let this first Dragon Claw go through. And now from this kind of range, I just had to reach to the next Shadow Bone in time, but not before they could throw the second Dragon Claw over here onto this Marowak. So I'll be building up to a back-to-back Shadow Bone, which I could not, but this wing attacks is adding up. So that is the reason I thought of, okay, wing attack is neutral, but this powder snows are resisted. So that is the reason I'll be coming back with, they'll be coming back with the Piloswine, and I have got to reach to the next Shadow Bone, which I do reach in time and get the win for the third battle here as well. So a very good play from my end and from my opponent's end as well. So moving into the next battle set against MonachusRex team, who is actually using Surfaced over here, and that core breaks my Poliwrath and Marowak score, which is going to be really tough, and I have to face this in the lead as well, which is not very great scenario for me, because I have to shield up the first Leaf Blade, and I do get the attack drop and the first shield from my opponent's end with the first Scald. So now I'll be building up to back-to-back Scald, but since they again safe swap into their Charizard, so I'll be going for the next Scald that do land, and I have to come back with my Piloswine to get a bit of extra energy, to which now they'll be again coming back without waiting out the switch clock, and they'll be coming back with their own Surfaced once again. So this, since I'm part ice, so I'll be taking super active damage onto my Piloswine as well, but they cannot farm me down until and unless they shield, they give up their final shield, and that is going to be the kind of win condition for me, because I will be now coming back with my own Alolan Marowak in this scenario, and I can get a hard farm down because I don't have any shields remaining right now. So they can throw one Night Slash, but it does not take me out. It does quite a bit of damage, but it is not enough to get the knockout. So I'll be now going for the neutral Shadow Bone, which does quite a bit of damage to this Piloswine as well, and I thought of catching the Avalanche or maybe the high horsepower onto the Piloswine over here, which I do perfectly, and now from this kind of range I can get a hard farm, and their Surfaced is quite low and energy dry, so I'll be now reaching to the next Shadow Bone just in time. That will take out the Surfaced as well, giving me the win for the first battle. So it was a hectic battle, and the Silph is causing all sorts of troubles for me. Moving into the next battle, I pick up a lead against the Silph once again onto my Poliwrath. And I catch the first Leaf Blade onto my Marowak, which is kind of a good play from my end because all the energy is now wasted, but they have got a hard response for my Marowak over here as well. So that is not a great thing because I have to shield up the first called because I want to soften up this Poliwrath over here because I cannot come back with my Poliwrath until and unless it is almost 50% of its health, because one dynamic punch does 50%. So I have to go for 2 dynamic punches to get the knockout. So that is the reason I shielded up the first move, and now I'll be going for the next Bone Club. That does give me the force shield from my opponent's end, and this is what I wanted from this matchup because I have got a loaded Poliwrath over here with me, and they have got energy dry Surface and energy dry Poliwrath over here. So now I'll be coming back with my Poliwrath once again, and I'll be going for the next dynamic punch after building up to back over here. So if you look closely, this does not knock me out, and they went for dynamic punch as well, but I'll be going for the next call. So Scald from this kind of range might get the knockout. If not, it does get the knockout over here. And now from this kind of range again, I have enough energy to go for one more Scald that might put this in farm down range for my Gliscor, which I do recognize, and I quickly try to snipe in, but they also recognize what I am trying to do. So they switched into their own the final Pokemon, which is going to be Charizard. So they are closing out very strong with Charizard over here, and I have to call the bait over here because their win condition is to go for a Dragon Claw bait and going for a Blast Burn. So that is the reason I let the first Dragon Claw go through, and now from this kind of range I can go for back-to-back Night Slashes and shield up the next Dragon Claw if it is the Dragon Claw, which is, and now from this kind of range I can go for the next Night Slash. That does guarantee the knockout for the Charizard, and they have got a very low dry Surface, to which I do get the boost and I get the wing attack down for the Surface, giving me the win for the second battle here as well. So it's a total complete kind of hard countering team to me, but still I managed somehow to with energy and shield management. So that is the reason it's how important this thing is in this cup, because everyone is actually using Poliwrath, Piloswine, Charizard, Hisuian, Qwilfish. So every team is having those kind of Pokemons, and that is the reason I have to somehow get things out of it. To which now I'll be going for the next Shadow Ball over here, and I think I do catch a lead with my Hisuian Qwilfish onto their Charizard, or might be their Piloswine. So I have completely missed what the lead was. So now I'll be going to shield the next dynamic punch over here, and now I'll be going for the hard farm down onto the Poliwrath over here. So now we are actually having even shield scenario in this battle, and they switch out into their own Piloswine into my loaded Qwilfish over here, because the final Pokemon that they are having access to is what they came in, which is going to be the Charizard, and I don't have a hard response to Charizard as well, to which I'll be letting this next charge move go through, which ends up being a Dragon Claw. I'm happy that it takes me out. From this kind of range I should have come back with my own Piloswine and get a lot of energy, but this is the play from my end, because I switched into my own Marowak to get kind of extra farm, which is not a great thing. And from this kind of range I will be letting this next Blast Burn go through, which actually is not good, because now from this kind of scenario they will be actually able to shield the next Night Slash just in time, and I can get the hard farm, but we get a simultaneous knockout and it's a draw. So that is the thing. So I should have shielded something. So moving on to the next battle, since it's a draw, we went for the fourth battle over here, and we have a lead of Poliwrath against my Qwilfish over here. So I tried catching a dynamic punch onto my Marowak, which I failed terribly, and they went for a Scald. So that is the losing condition for me over here, I think, because they will be switching out again into their Charizard and they can farm me down, or maybe they will be going for like Dragon Claws over here. So I'm not a good scenario right now because my Marowak have already vanquished from this kind of this battle right now. But I have a loaded Qwilfish right now, to which I can threaten this Charizard as well, and I can get the heart farm onto this Charizard over here. But not before they could throw the first. I believe it's a blast burn, but it's a like Dragon Claw over here. And now I'm in a tough scenario because I've got a loaded Qwilfish, but they also have access to shields and a Poliwrath. So that is the reason I will be going for the first shield bait, and I'll be again going for a shield bait, and which ends up being the worst possible mistake for my battle over here, because they let the Aqua Tail go through, which is not a great thing. So since I'm loaded once again, so I'll be letting to burn my final shield as well, and now I'll be going for the next call. So I hope that whatever they have in the back is actually weak to my Piloswine, but they finally have their own Piloswine as well, to which I could not reach to the next Aqua Tail. I die with the move, and that is the reason this might be the end of the battle over here, because they will be going for the next avalanche that will be putting me kind of low, and now from this kind of range I cannot build up to 3 avalanches, which will take out their Piloswine, their shield, and the quite healthy Poliwrath as well. So this will be all for this battle as well, because the avalanche does take me out and MonachusRex get the win for the 4th battle. So it ended up being a 2-1, which is a good thing, and that will be all for this video. See you again in the next one.